Hi guys, my name is Emily DeSimone with the Garden State Film Festival, and here with me today I have Samantha La Rochelle of Next Steps. Samantha, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, Samantha. So, can you give our viewers a tidbit about your film?
In my senior year of high school, my dad passed away from cancer, and he had been sick for 2 years, and I felt like there was this very active grief that came along with that. And when I tried to explain it to my peers or just kind of go through day to day life, I felt like a lot of people didn't really know how to handle me or what was going on or didn't understand the ways that I was dealing with it. So I made this short to kind of show that grief isn't always the way it might look in a movie. And when your whole family knows that it's about to be grieving, including the person who's sick, it can get messy and you make mistakes and you don't say things the correct way every time. And so I just felt like it was important to show people what that was like because a lot of people didn't really understand what my day to day was like at home.
I'm so sorry that you've had to go
Okay.
through that, but thank you so much for sharing your story because I know that there are people that can connect to that and can relate to that. And when you have someone like that that you can relate to, it helps. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But so, can you talk to us a bit about when you filmed your film Next Steps?
So the post production took quite a while. There was some issues with just a whole bunch of stuff. I'm sure everyone who's ever made any film or anything creative knows how that can go. So we actually filmed this in August of 2021. So I had just graduated college in May and had just done a whole bunch of pre-production. I wrote this, produced, and I was in it. So I did not direct. I had a lovely friend of mine, Madeline Murdoch, directed the piece. Um, but it took a good long while after that to finish, hence why it didn't end up in festival circuits until this year. Um, but yeah, it was in the summertime. I had also just moved and we were filming in my new place, and so it was very hectic to kind of try to get everything done. Yeah.
Okay, so you filmed in August of 2021.
Yeah.
So how did COVID affect your whole production process?
We had a very bare bones crew and cast. I have written a feature about this same topic as well, but the short I made sure to keep just two characters who were playing basically my parents and then me. And the crew that was allowed on set was very minimal, and we all had to COVID test prior, and everyone had to wear a mask. The only people who weren't wearing masks were the actors while we were rolling. Um, and yeah, I'm sure everyone who is a part of this festival in a film capacity had to do a pretty similar thing, but it was definitely hard to pick what roles absolutely had to be there in person and which were um, more of a pre and post kind of separate endeavor. Because on a normal set, I would love to have, more hands on deck, more help, but we definitely had to do like a pretty bare bones crew.
And how did you find, your fellow actors and your entire crew members?
So I went to NYU Tisch for screenwriting, and a lot of my friends via that were film students and lovely collaborators. So I met the director, most of my producers, my assistant director, things like that through school. And if I didn't know someone directly before filming, it was probably through one of them that I got access to more crew members. The cast was backstage. We put up a listing and got a bunch of auditions done, mostly virtual, and then we did our final round in person. And that worked out pretty well. I'm so grateful to have worked with the two people we had alongside me, and I cast myself as myself because it was very personal to me, and I just really
Yeah.
wanted to be able to do this. But the two adult actors who played my parents essentially were just so great and lovely, and the process for that actually went pretty smoothly despite having to be mostly online for safety reasons.
That's completely understandable. That's actually so cool that you went to NYU and you've gotten your degree, your concentration in.
My concentration was dramatic writing, technically. So what they teach is screen, television, and playwriting. And that was my major. I minored in film and psychology. So I also had some production classes and a lot of producing courses to finish my degree.
That's fantastic. So when you were filming, I'm sure this wasn't your first time just because you went to school for 4 years. This wasn't your first film that you made.
No, I actually also concentrated in film in high school. I went to Communications High School in Wall, New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey. And my film teacher, David Salo, who's still the film teacher there, was the first person who showed me how to make film. I never thought of it as a possibility for me. I thought I wanted to be a novel writer when I was younger. And I took digital video was my first class as a freshman in high school, and from then on, I was like, "Oh, this is actually exactly what I wanna do." I love writing scripts, I love making shorts and things like that. So I actually had a short in the Garden State Film Festival in the high school, categories when I was in high school because I made a ton of films from the time I was about 14 all the way up until now. So I have been to Garden State before, but at a different capacity.
Oh no, that's fantastic. Well, welcome back. It's so great to have you. And how did you first found out about the Garden State Film Festival? I'm assuming through your high school teacher.
So we were encouraged to send our shorts everywhere. So I submitted my shorts to a lot of festivals on Film Freeway mostly, and there was also some that we were encouraged specifically. And I do know that anything that had specific categories for being made in New Jersey, all of our films were made in New Jersey at the time. So I definitely think it was probably one of the ones highlighted. It was probably my sophomore or junior year of high school, so I don't remember exactly if he said something, but I'm sure he did. He was always trying to give us the best shot at getting a film actually selected, and Garden State has the homegrown category, so I was in that at the time. This film was made in New York, so I didn't count for homegrown, but I definitely think that was a probably a reason I submitted when I was in high school.
And with this film, so you went to school, you studied with everything, and so did you run into any obstacles with this film that taught you what to do next time?
Yeah, we had, like I said, a bunch of things came up in post that I think I realized it was the first time I wasn't using school equipment, and it was just a lot of kind of trying to figure out the downsides to not having access to the large amount of equipment NYU has, and my high school had really lovely equipment as well. So when you're renting out your own stuff, it can be a little bit more difficult to kind of pinpoint the best thing to use, and I think that led to a lot of our technical problems was just kind of needing to know more about equipment, more about the technological side, which has never been my strong suit. So now I know leading up to the next films I make that whoever I have in my crew for different departments, I should hire early on so that they can tell me exactly what I need to rent and be able to use because I think I probably made some missteps along the way and then we had to end up fixing it in post production, which we ended up doing an okay job, but I do wish that we could have sidestepped that and maybe come up with a better first product before we had to fix things in post.
Oh, clearly you did better than just an okay job because you're at the film festival and you've been accepted. How does it feel to have your film accepted?
I'm so excited. I am especially excited because it's in New Jersey, so a lot of my friends who knew my dad, but also people from high school who still live around here, my family can come see it, and I'm really excited because it's been very kind of under a tight seal since it's been finished. So some people don't know it's even finished yet, and they think I've just been taking like 2 years to edit. So I'm so excited to have it screen. I might have my film teacher from high school actually come, which would be super exciting. So it's I'm so glad that it's going to be a Garden State. I'm really excited.
Well, we're so excited to have you. So, what is it that you want your audience members to take away from this film?
I think it's important to remember that grief can happen in a bunch of different ways. And just because you're seeing something that looks messy or that doesn't align with, I feel like there's like almost this, weirdly enough, a perfect version of what people think happens when someone has cancer or when someone knows they're terminal. And how a lot of people would be confused if I would be angry at my dad, even if it had nothing to do with illness. And I was like, I mean, I'm still a teenager and he's still my dad. He still isn't a perfect person. But I think people think there's this wisdom that comes with knowing you're going to pass away and things like that. And I think just keeping an open mind that everyone's doing their best, and also it's okay if it doesn't look inspirational to you what someone's going through. They don't owe you that. They just are dealing with it the best they can. So I think it's kind of, it's me looking back on what happened years ago and realizing that I didn't make the best decisions for sure, but also that I should have given my dad more grace, because there's no good way to go through what he was going through either. And I feel like everyone, including myself at times, thought he should be, I don't know, some sort of like handing out quotes or or inspiration for people. Um, and it just wasn't like that. So I think just keeping an open mind and realizing that people are still human and that you never really know what someone's going through in their own head. And I don't know, it's different for everybody. So I like to show that messy bit, and uh hopefully people won't judge it too hard and will instead kind of see the humanity in that.
I absolutely believe that everybody will see the humanity in that. And like I said before, they'll be like touched and whatnot. And you've shared such a strong, hard story about yourself. And I mean, I want to thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure that there are many people that are going to thank you as well. So, do you have maybe any advice for, incoming filmmakers that don't have the experience that you are? And I mean, I know you've been through 4 years of college, and you've done it through high school and whatnot, and you still have so much of life ahead of you to learn with filmmaking. But of what you know now, do you have any advice that you'd love to give some younger, lesser experienced filmmakers?
I mean, yeah, I think the best way to do any of this is to just start doing it and to not get bogged down. I know I said something I regretted was not knowing the exact perfect equipment and then having to deal with things in post, but I think not worrying about the resources you don't have and instead working with whatever you do have to make things, and realizing that the first 2, 3, I don't know, 10 things that you make, you might not like, because if you love film as a viewer at this point, your taste is probably ahead of your ability until you build up that ability. So not to get discouraged by the resources you might not have yet, and to take advantage of the resources you do, and to not get discouraged again by, if you don't absolutely love and think it's perfect the first however many things you do, because eventually you'll learn how to do things a little bit better and a little bit better, and you will start to really enjoy your own work, even if you'll still always see all of the little errors that other people might not. You'll learn to love what you see in your own stuff. So just start and do it, and kind of just don't let any of that other noise hold you back from really trying. And I think you'll get better and better, despite if you're just using an iPhone or something like, or a camcorder from 2008, which is, I think, something that I started filming on. That's, it's, if that's what you have, then that's perfect. Just do whatever you can. Use iMovie if you have to. Like, anything that you have at your disposal is perfect. Just start doing things and you'll make something. And that's better than where you started yesterday having nothing. So yeah, I think that's the advice I'd have.
Thank you so much, Samantha, for joining with us today and sharing your story. I take it that you will be there at the Garden State Film Festival.
Yes, I'll be there.
Yes, I so look forward to meeting you in person. You guys, you can see the film Next Steps at the Jersey Shore Arts Center on Sunday, March 25th from 12:15 p.m. to 2 p.m. Samantha, thank you so much again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.